Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm talking to you about the start of the golf swing. The very moment you move that golf club away and how we make it move away. I often hear, how do you start your backswing? How do you start your downswing? 2 points where the golf club is changing direction. Of course, when we start our golf swing, the club is dead on the ground. A lot of people have struggled over the years, notably Robert Carlson, Justin Rose had a little time at it, and Sergio Garcia had moments where they couldn't take the golf club away. I think understanding what gets your golf club moving is a really good way of understanding how you're going to gather up the club and you to make it feel like it's all connected. And there's always that buzzword of connection, sequencing in the golf swing. Well, as I say, at the start point, as you take the golf club away, we can take it away in many different ways. I want to give you some insights into the thoughts and feels that I have to get the golf club started in a way that it allows you to unite your body and the club. Because remember, as I reference in many of my videos, we've got the light end and we've got the heavy end. If I move that light end, we can see that the head is just going to stay there. Therefore, we've got to make sure that the head is going to come with us. So understanding that the feet must be engaged, the shoulders must be engaged from the outset. Now, back in the day, and I'm just going to hit one just to loosen myself up here. Back in the day, Faldo had this really interesting, it's another lucky day of hitting straight shots. Faldo back in the day had this thing where he lifted the club head up. If those of you who are 35, 38 or above, he had this thing where he would do this waggle back, and then hover the golf club in the air, and then take it away and hit it. Now, I never really, at that moment in time, I was a massive advocate of Faldo and Ledbetter, which has since changed dramatically. Watching all of his videos, and I, for a time, actually tried to imitate him in many, many ways, which is all a little bit weird. But it certainly gave me a great feel for the game. The hovering of the golf club that Nick used to have, when you think about it, when the club is in the air, I've referenced this in my grip video, when the club head is in the air, I'm feeling the weight of that club head in the butt of the golf club. So when I've set up to the ground here, at the moment that club head is on the floor and I could take my hands off the club and the club head wouldn't be, the handle would not be supported. Now all of a sudden I'm going to take the golf club head off the floor. Now you can't see any difference on the camera, and I've even got the face on camera zoomed in on the club head. You can't see the difference between the club head there and the club head there. It's like the thinnest cigarette paper you could ever imagine. You could slide it under my club head and the club head is off the floor. But it's not off the floor. It's not in the same way that Faldo had his club right up here where you could see a dirty great big gap between the ground and the bottom of the golf club. My club head is off the floor to the point where I can take the strain. If you were doing a deadlift and someone got you to take the strain of the bar, the weight wouldn't be off the floor, but your musculature is loaded, ready to pull on the bar. So in the same sense, when we set up to the golf ball, so many people have the club head dead on the ground, and then what they try to do is they try to pull the club away quickly. Well, of course, the pure matter that the club is on the floor, there has to be some sort of lift. And invariably, people will take the club away very quickly with the handle. Understandably so, because you're trying to drag the club away. And of course, at that point, the handle can go in any which way it wants to. And invariably, because the brain is going, I need to get the golf club from underneath me to up into the top of my backswing, we take the handle in this direction. Well, of course, if we take the handle in this direction, it's making the club head swing in, which is making that golf club that many people fight, swinging it inside. So understand that the weight of the club head is taken in the setup. So I'm feeling the golf club is ever so slightly, you wouldn't be able to see it if I was standing on the tee. And even with the driver, you wouldn't be able to see the fact that my club head is off the floor. The fact that the club head is slightly off the floor, I can feel the weight in the butt of my left hand, and I can feel the pressure in my left shoulder. So all of a sudden, without even moving, I've got some activation through my upper half. Now, because I've got some activation and I've got some weight in my shoulders and in my grip, now when I start to move this golf club away, I now want to start to wake up my feet, which is why I then start to have this sort of dance back and forwards. Now, when I get people on the pressure mat and I have it up in front of me or in front of them, they stand here, and if you've seen any of my leg action videos, you'll see the pressure mat and the white dot. It will bounce left and right, left and right, left and right. Then when they come to swing the golf club away, the ball doesn't move. There's nothing going on with their feet. And then all of a sudden, when the club gets to the outer points of the swing, when the balance has been compromised, because obviously if I stand here now and I had two scales under my feet, my weight would be distributed evenly from right-hand scale to left-hand scale. But when I now move this golf club over here, that weight is now going to be biased on my right foot, purely because I've got the weight of a golf club over here. So as soon as the golf club has momentum out, we've got two options. One, we can go with it, or one, we can oppose it. And so therefore, the feet need to be ready. The feet need to be ready in that they're going to create some sort of opposition. So therefore, dancing with the feet is a really nice way to start to wake ourselves up. You see it a lot with golfers, don't you? Dancing around. But I like to then balance that up with how I'm going to start to feel the club move. So for me, and my preference, going back to my videos, I like to see that the right foot loads immediately in a backswing and is going to feel like it's going to push me towards the target. So I can actually feel like my left foot is going to be light as I move the golf club away. So for me, I time pressure down through the handle, which makes me feel the weight of the golf club. Then as I move the club head, then handle, so I start to apply force down through the handle and then the club head moves. At that point, I actually make my left foot go light to the point where it could actually lift off the floor. But it's lifting off the floor as I'm pushing myself towards the target. So I take the golf club away, I let my left foot go light and strike. So I've got some real activity going on there. I've got the handle pressure because I can feel the weight of the head because the club head's off the floor. I've got my right foot pushing into the ground that's starting to make my left foot go light, which in turn starts to fire up some hip rotation. So when we think about a takeaway, there's quite a bit going on, isn't there? It's not about just drawing the golf club away. We're actually trying to create some opposition as usual. The club handle's moving to the right. I need to have some opposition. I want the club head to go up, so I need to have some pressure down. And all of this goes on in a split second. But if you look through the videos that I am putting out there, hopefully it's really starting to give you an idea and an understanding of how this ecosystem of us and the club work together to create energy. but energy when we're standing in one spot. Totally different if you're a long driver and you're moving around and you're trying to smash it, but we're looking for precision and accuracy. The takeaway is the start of all of that. And I think it would be amiss of us to think that just dragging this golf club away is something not necessarily that's complicated, but it needs some thought. So today's challenge for you guys is to think about how light you can make the club head touch the ground to start with. Set yourself up, put the club head on the ground, and then just lift the club head off the floor as lightly as possible, and feel how all of a sudden your shoulders load. Feel how all of a sudden the pad of your left hand gets the pressure and the weight of the club head. Now all of a sudden you'll feel way different before you even get the golf club moving. I hope that's been insightful. I really love talking about this stuff and I really enjoy bringing you the content, as I say, that you deserve. Do give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe while you're here, and I look forward to, as usual, seeing you on the next one.